Good morning. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. God is good. Look ahead. We're back this morning. I'm bringing you a morning show. I know Mrs. Sweet Things at work. She couldn't be with me this morning, but I've got you a nice show put together this morning. It's called the Gospel Short History Hour. Some history of some of the artists that we play here on Inspiration After Dark. So if you're at home and you're not doing anything at work or whatever you do, just lay back and listen. We got some good things for you this morning. So have a blessed day, and remember, God must love you. He woke you up this morning and started you on your way.
Man didn't give life to promised Whitney to come see about me. Yeah, he came. And I'm glad.
Reverend James Cleveland was one of the most prolific and gifted composers of his time. Like his mentor, Thomas Dorsey, he had the unique ability to reach out and touch his audience with his lyrics. They could identify with his songs when he wrote about not being able to pay the rent or buy food. He had a message for them, and they responded.
And I will say.
Born in Chicago during the Depression era, Cleveland was raised by his grandmother, whom he credits his musical ability. With an unstoppable determination, he taught himself to play the piano and began writing songs as a teenager. Many of his writings were published thanks to Roberta Martin.
Amazing Grace.
Cleveland sang with various gospel groups and moved from city to city honing his craft. While in Detroit, he was a minister for Reverend C.L. Franklin and later collaborated with Franklin's daughter, Aretha, on the Grammy-winning album, Amazing Grace. Meanwhile, other gospel groups were singing Cleveland's original compositions, and he was performing with such greats as the Gospel All-Stars and Mahalia Jackson. His arrangements brought together for the first time gospel with jazz and pop rhythms, paving the way for such artists as Edwin Hawkins and Andre Crouch.
Come on, mass choir, help me sing.
Cleveland moved to Los Angeles during the 60s and became a minister. Having his own church was an answer to a prayer, but it didn't complete his vision. Gospel music had become so important to him that he wanted a way to preserve the gospel tradition. In 1968, he returned to Philadelphia and founded the Gospel Music Workshop of America. He brought together talented young men and women, singers, writers, and instrumentalists who he would train to further develop the music he so dearly loved. Today, the Gospel Music Workshop of America is still flourishing with over 500,000 members from every state. During his illustrious career, James Cleveland received numerous awards, released over 200 albums, and received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. His contribution to gospel will always be remembered. He was not just a singer, but also a minister, a musician, a producer, a composer, a teacher, and a mentor. Gospel music reached new heights because of the genius of James Cleveland, the crown prince of gospel, a true gospel great.
Mike, you thought he was over?
The Winans just keep on coming. Ever since the original quartet of brothers made their recording debut in 1981, up to and including their new millennium version of Young Singing Siblings, the Winans have made an indelible mark on gospel music.
The Winans are one of the groups that really changed the whole sound of gospel music and impacted gospel music in a very special way.
And when I see them together or hear them together, oh my goodness.
Our opinions might not be the same. There's so many things that
David and Dolores Winans, both gifted singers themselves, were the primary musical and spiritual influences for their 10 children, who they raised in a Pentecostal household in Detroit, Michigan. The 4 eldest brothers became a gospel sensation with a little help from Andre Crouch, and it was their success that opened the door for their other brothers and sisters, David, Daniel, Bibi, Cece, Angie, and Debbie, making the Winans a family phenomenon gospel music had never seen.
I know you heard about the Winans, see? We a godly dynasty.
What I'm seeing now is history repeating itself. It makes me feel so good to know that the life that they're living as young men can be very impressive to this generation.
would you help your children?
The Winans Quartet made most of it happen with a sound that captured the souls of a new generation of gospel fans. 10 hit albums, 5 Grammys, a host of Stellar and Dove Awards, and induction into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame. Ron Winans died in 2005, but through 4 generations, the Winans remain musical treasures and gospel greats. The Davis sisters came out of the hard-driving, soul-stirring tradition of Philadelphia's Pentecostal Fire Baptist Holiness Church in the 1940s. Audrey, Thelma, and Alfreda Davis were led by their older sister Ruth, better known as Baby Sis. And when it came to rock and a revival, the Davis sisters were unparalleled. 2 other women, Emma Jean Green and Jackie Verdell, both unrelated to the Davis family, also sang with the quintet, whose only male member was piano accompanist Curtis Dublin. For years, the Davis sisters were a big hit on the Pentecostal circuit in Philadelphia before they began making records sometime between 1947 and 1949. And within 3 short years, their songs were making the gospel charts as well. Ruth Davis's spirit-filled solos and acting out during her performances was the driving force behind the group's success. The hits quickly followed, including Jesus Steps Right In When I Need Him Most, Too Close to Heaven, and Surely He Is Able, to name a few. But despite their musical success, tragedy would strike this talented family hard. Each of the Davis sisters met an untimely death, including one who died at the age of 33 and another who was burned to death. And in 1970, it was the tragic loss of their leader, Baby Sis, to a series of illnesses that hurt the Davis sisters seemingly beyond repair. Her funeral was a gathering of gospel greats, including Clara Ward, seen here paying her last respects. The Davis sisters never recovered after that, forever silencing the sanctified sound they had honed to perfection.
When you mention the word longevity, I would say the Williams brothers have been there for a long time, and they are still there, very strong now. This is a group that you can't call a quartet, you can't call them a group. You have to call them the Williams brothers because they are very strong, and wherever they appear around the country, they really pack them out.
There is perhaps no other family name more synonymous with good gospel music than the Williams brothers. And they've been at it for 45 years, ever since Leon Pop Williams first formed the trio in Smithdale, Mississippi in 1960.
They've been around a long time. Doug Williams, that was Leonard, there's Melvin, and I think the duo now is Doug and Melvin, more or less. And they just people just enjoy hearing them.
The recipients of 3 Grammy nominations and numerous Stellar Awards, the Williams brothers are in a class by themselves. Enshrined in the International Gospel Hall of Fame in 1999, they have an impressive 18 top 10 albums, including 3 #1 hits. They performed at some of the nation's most famous and distinctive concert halls, from Harlem's famed Apollo Theater to Carnegie Hall to the Grand Ole Opry House and Radio City.
Come on, put your hands together. I'm with Jesus. Oh, yes, I am.
The Williams brothers are not just prolific performers, they're astute businessmen. In 1991, they formed their own label, Blackberry Records, which became the first black-owned and operated record label in Mississippi with major distribution.
People just like to look at them. They're handsome men, number 1. Number 2, they can really sing.
It was no coincidence